If you win, cool. Now you can forget about it and continue to get better. Or if you lose, cool. That's on you. But you can't stay there for too long because it's not gonna last. My dad always says, he's like, mija, ¿para qué te preocupas? You know, there's more fights. I'm very proud of you. So this topic was brought by one of my teammates and loyal members about short-term memory win or loss. And when I think about that, I think about the first time that I went through a training camp for my first fight. And Taz told me, do not get too high on the highs and low on the lows. And I was like, the heck does that mean, right? And this brings me back to the time where right after my fight, the girl gets her hand raised and right away, they sit us down to make sure that we're essentially functional. People were, you know, congratulating me, looking at me. This whole time in my head, I was like, I just lost. I don't know why people are going up to me, get away from me. And everyone's, you know, they're still hugging me. They're still being there, even though I didn't feel like seeing anybody because I had just lost my fight and I felt like crap. So I get to the locker rooms. And I remember going to the bathroom right away. And then when I came back, Taz told me that my opponent actually went up to them, you know, to shake their hand and tell them how strong I was, that it was, you know, a good match and stuff. And I was like, yeah, and you know, like when I heard that at that moment, it's like, yeah, you just beat me up. So of course you feel good. You know, my mind was racing. My feelings were all over the place. I was angry at myself. I was disappointed. I was sad. You know, I had just lost a fight that I really was looking forward to. We grabbed our stuff and then luckily we had a back entrance. So instead of going out the same way that we go to the cage where everyone's at, we walked back and then got in the car. I cried for like good 5 minutes, but I didn't even just cry, I sobbed. I was so disappointed. And they let me cry. They let me release everything that I was feeling at the time. The ride back to the house, then my dad called me just to check up on me to make sure that I was okay. Man, Dad, I just lost my fight. You know, I was looking forward to it and I didn't get the win. He told me it's okay. I mean, ya pasó. You know, there's more fights. I'm very proud of you. You know, at that moment, as much as you appreciate when people tell you those things, you don't feel like you're actually proud of the action that you made. My mind was like, what just happened? That whole week, my emotions were up and down and I didn't want to go back to the gym because first I was embarrassed and I was just feeling a lot of emotions at once. I sat down with Taz and I had told him that I felt like I let him down because I had put so much into this fight and yet I didn't get the outcome we wanted, you know. And then I apologized to him for losing my fight and he told me that there was nothing to apologize for, that he was proud of me. And yet another person tells me that they're proud. I was like, why? I just lost a fight. I didn't win, right? I know what it's like to be on the low because I lost a fight, but it doesn't mean that's the only thing that I've lost. Doesn't mean that's the only failure that I've had in my life, but I've always somehow have overcome it. I think a lot of us stay in that same mind state because they don't have the right support system. My dad was there for me, my family was there for me, even my teammates were there for me. You know, I made a post right after that and people were being very supportive. What got me through it was the fact that I didn't let myself stay there. Because one loss did not mean I was a bad fighter or a bad martial artist. One loss meant I needed things to work on, and I'm still working on them. But at the same time, I also know what it feels like to win. Have you guys ever really seen how Mike Tyson is after every win? He doesn't go all jumpy and he just fucking jumps up and shit. He takes it like just another fight. And Taz is always saying that, like, even though you win, you still have things to work on. So you get back into the gym and work on other things. Even though you lose, you still go back to the gym and continue to get better and continue to learn the things that you missed. One thing that I know for a fact is that a lot of people attach themselves to that moment. This happens to me where I know I messed up on something, like with a fight or when I messed up at work for something. Like, I can't stay at that moment for too long or else it's gonna consume me. And that's the same thing with fighting and MMA. We do a lot of drills, a lot of fights, we do a lot of sparring. And in those moments, yeah, we may lose. Maybe we didn't execute a takedown. Maybe we didn't land the combo. Maybe we got taken down and got beat up for a little bit. But it doesn't mean we failed at life. Because if I would have taken more time away from the gym, I would have completely quit. And what helped me get back up was the fact that I had people that helped me get back up. As an athlete, just because you win at something, that doesn't mean you're done with the work. It takes a lot of humility coming from a win, because if you know that you got it, there's no reason to brag about it, right? It's like the people that are so flashy and always need to brag about things, like that eventually is not gonna last, because material things don't last. What lasts is your character, your legacy, and who you are. So even a win or a loss, that doesn't last. I think it's important to always keep in mind that if you win, cool. Now you can forget about it and continue to get better. Or if you lose, cool. All right, now there's other things that you gotta work on. There are specific things that you gotta work on and get better at. Failures don't define you. What defines you is what you do afterwards. The same thing with every win or loss. No matter what it is that you do, that's on you. But you can't stay there for too long because it's not gonna last. My coach has showed me, other coaches have shown me, be humble. Like, can't live your life just basing it off on the validation of people. Like, I had to realize that about myself, that I couldn't stay there for too long and feel like, fuck, I failed so many people, because this fight was for me in the beginning. You know, it wasn't for anybody else but myself. And the fact that I did it, it's already enough. My dad always says, he's like, mija, ¿para qué te preocupas? He's always saying, like, why do you worry? Don't worry. Because at the end of the day, if you put in the work, the results are gonna show. If you don't put in the work, then the results are gonna show too. Then you can't do much about the outcome sometimes. You can't control the outcome, no matter what you do. You can't control the outcome. You can only control yourself and your response to things.